Nathaniel Bedford Forrest was born July 13th, 1821. He was born to a poor family in Bedford County, Tennessee. Nathan Bedford Forrest would become a serial killer over the years. He would also become one of the founders of the Ku Klux Klan, later infiltrating the Democratic Party and being involved in one of the biggest massacres in American history. Forrest was a dangerous man. In 1841, Forrest went into business with his uncle. His uncle was killed in 1841 during an argument with the Matlock brothers. In retaliation, Forrest shot two of them with a pistol and wounded two of them with a knife. One of the wounded men would eventually serve under him in the Civil War. Forrest had a successful business. He was a planter and he was a slaveholder. He acquired several cotton plantations in the Delta region of West Tennessee, where he became a slave trader. During this time, slavery was booming. In 1858, Forrest was elected Memphis City Alderman as a Democrat and served 2 consecutive terms. By October 1860, he owned at least 3,345 acres in Mississippi. After the Civil War broke out, Forrest returned to Tennessee from his Mississippi ventures and enlisted in the Confederate States Army. Nathan Bedford Forrest was an evil man with bloodthirsty thoughts and an appetite for destruction. Throughout his life, it has been said that he has murdered over 30 men. One of the most brutal incidents occurred during the Civil War, where he and his men slaughtered up to 200 people. This was known as the Battle of Fort Pillow or the Fort Pillow Massacre. Hundreds of troops composed of black soldiers and white Tennessean Southern loyalists fighting for the Union were slaughtered after they surrendered. Forrest was blamed for the slaughter in the Union press, and the news may have strengthened the North's resolve to win the war. The fort was manned by 557 Union troops, 295 white, and 262 black, under the commander Major L.F. Booth. Forrest's Confederate forces were accused of subjecting the Union soldiers of torture, with allegations of back-shooting soldiers who fled into the river, shooting wounded soldiers, burning men alive, nailing men to barrels and igniting them, crucifixion, and hacking men to death with sabers. Because of the events of Fort Pillow, the Northern public and press viewed Forrest as a war criminal. Nathan Bedford Forrest was an early member of the Ku Klux Klan, which formed 6 veterans of the Confederate Army in Pulaski, Tennessee, during the summer of 1866. He was called the Wizard of the Saddle, also known as Devil Forrest, and with great reason. Forrest would hunt down black men and women by night, masquerading as ghosts in sheets. Forrest was the Klan's first only Grand Wizard. Following the war, the United States Congress began passing Reconstruction Acts to specify conditions for the readmission of former Confederate states. Many black men were slaughtered and murdered in an attempt to strike fear in every black American's heart. The Klan's activity infiltrated the Democratic Party and the presidential election of 1868. Prominent Republican organizer George Ashburn was murdered in Georgia by the Ku Klux Klan. In Louisiana, 1,000 black people were killed to suppress the Republican vote. In Georgia, blacks and Republicans also faced a lot of violence. The Klan's violence was primarily designed to intimidate voters, targeting black and white supporters of the Republican Party. Forrest reportedly died of an acute complications of diabetes at Memphis, the home of his brother Jesse, on October 29, 1877. Forrest's victims never saw justice, and his life became a stain on the fabric of America forever.